What's going on, people? It's your boy NGS back at it with another video. Now, the topic for today's discussion is going to be my thoughts on the September PlayStation Games Showcase. Now, unlike most of these gaming events, gaming press conferences, where most people do their reviews right after the show, I've done things a little bit differently here on the channel, where I like to give myself a full 24 hours to let the thoughts mule over in my brain, because it's very easy to get blindsided by one or two announcements that cater to you and kind of judge the entire show based off of that. So similar to what I did with the Xbox Bethesda conference back in the summer, I'm doing the same thing for this PlayStation Game Showcase. Now, this isn't going to be a complete recap rundown of every single thing that they showed off. It's just going to be a couple of things that I felt were very notable. And with this showcase, I can pleasantly say that, you know, this is the TLDW version of the video, too long didn't watch. I was overall thoroughly impressed with what they had to show off. Now, was it this Megaton showcase that everybody in the internet was leading you to believe? No, it wasn't. But was it this dumpster fire where they didn't show anything worth giving a damn? No, it wasn't. There were a lot of cool announcements in this PlayStation Game Showcase, and there were a lot of things that, honestly, I don't even think, just gonna be honest, needed to be in a showcase of this length. So starting off at the top, we had the return of a fan favorite gaming icon in the industry.
I'm Jim Ryan, president and
Shut up, bitch! Oh my god!
This is gonna be a long generation. So starting at the top, we had the return of a fan favorite game franchise from an iconic series. I'm of course talking about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Now, if y'all have been following the news for a while, you would have heard the rumors and rumblings about some type of a Kotor revival. It's something that everybody, myself included, have been wanting to see for the longest time, and we're finally getting that in the form of this remake. Now, they did not reveal too much about this because, as you saw from the trailer, we only got CGI footage, no gameplay whatsoever, no details, other than the fact that this game is going to be developed by Aspire Media, and it is a timed exclusive console game on the PlayStation 5. It's going to be available on PC as well, but if you only game on consoles, the PlayStation 5 is going to be the only place to play this game for the foreseeable future. Now, while I know many people are excited about the idea of a KOTOR remake, it's something gamers have been wanting for the longest time. Me, myself, and I'm just gonna be real, y'all, I have my reservations about it, mainly due to the fact that they didn't really do much to instill confidence. I mean, the developer of the game is Aspire Media, and their claim to fame has just been porting a lot of games. A lot of games across consoles, a lot of games across mobile. They've never really done their own project, especially one to the scale of a KOTOR, a game that's as legendary as BioWare, well, as legendary as BioWare used to be. Like, that's a game that, you know, it needs a lot of tender love and care. Now, that's not to say that they aren't up to the task, because they have stated that, you know, they are hiring a lot of people who worked on the original game, ex-BioWare devs. And who knows, this could end up being another Bluepoint situation, where Bluepoint goes from developing ports of games onto PS3 to full-blown remakes like Demon's Souls on the PlayStation 5. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt as far as that's concerned, but until we actually see concrete gameplay of what this KOTOR remake is going to be, it's just gonna fall into the category of I'm excited, but not too excited. Because KOTOR as a game, even though I love it, it's one of my favorite games of all time, both that and the sequel, it has not aged the greatest. And anybody who has played the game recently, whether it's on PC or backwards compatible Xbox, they'll tell you that it's incredible in terms of its narrative, in terms of the Star Wars lore, the mythos. Gameplay wise, wow, I love Star Wars, guys. Nevertheless, with all my reservations, I am going to be keeping a close eye on this one, considering KOTOR is now a part of the new Star Wars canon. And that is something that, again, gamers, Star Wars fans alike, have wanted for the longest time, because, honestly, I'm just going to be real, the stories that they told in those games is frankly better than a lot of the stuff that we've seen in mainstream Star Wars lore. So then bringing that back into the canon, I'm going to be very interested to see how much of that old material they bring into this new one, how they're going to modernize it and fit it with the new canon. As a Star Wars fan, I'm very intrigued off of that alone. Gameplay wise, we'll just have to wait and see. The next game I want to highlight is actually coming from Square Enix, and that is Forspoken. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've gotten ourselves a second trailer for the game, and I mean, I'm just going to keep this one short, sweet, and to the point. I am extremely excited for Forspoken. I mean, not just the fact that it's starring a black queen, but I mean, that is one of the best parts about it. I mean, look at her, she's fucking gorgeous. Everything they've shown off about Forspoken is just really clicking with me, from the characters to the gameplay, the traversal. It seems like this is going to be an isekai story, but with a modern flair on it. I mean, I'm a big sucker for isekai stories, but honestly, the ones that we've seen done nowadays have been very tropey. So hopefully that this game is not going to fall down that path and it carves its own niche. And just based off of who is writing this game, Gary Whitta, Amy Hennig, Todd Stashwick, the amount of talent that Square Enix has procured to work on this game has got me even more excited than I originally was. However, I do want to see more standalone gameplay of this game, because from what it looks like, it seems like it's an open world mixed in with Doctor Strange magical elements, and that stuff is great. The traversal looks fantastic, but I want to see what the core gameplay loop is going to be. Is this just going to be another Final Fantasy 15 where you have an open world for the sake of having an open world and it really doesn't serve the story much? Or is this game potentially going to be like the next Witcher 3, where you have a character in this world and it's just so deep and vast and you don't realize that until you actually play the game? So the jury is out, I understand, for the majority of people looking forward to this game, but from what they've shown off so far, I am extremely excited for Forspoken. We also got a concrete release for the game. It's going to be coming out in spring 2022. And that right there, I mean, I'm going to be getting it day one. I'm excited for it, but it's just another game in the already crazy crowded notch belt that is 2022, man. Some of these games are going to have to get pushed. Not for game development purposes, but for the fact that shit is stacked, bro. Stacked. And then we got our first proper look at this Project Eve game. Now, I'm not going to be one of these people who's like fake excited that I knew every single thing about this game. I didn't. This was my first time checking out the game. I know it was something that had been floating around for the past year or so, but this was most people's first look at the game. To me, it looks like a blend between Bayonetta, Nier, and Devil May Cry, and I'm really liking the vibes that I'm getting from this game. Now, obviously, the visuals were extremely rough. Even if you take away the fact that this was streaming, it does look like it needs a lot of polish. But like I said, most of these games are going to be a year out, if not more, so they have time to work on it. But from what I've seen, it seems extremely interesting from a gameplay perspective. The music is also on point, which is something that, you know, a lot of people don't care about in video games. But if you have an action game and you have a banger soundtrack, bro, that just is just chef's kiss, man. Unless you're a game journalist, and then you can't hear the music in Devil May Cry.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
Come on, y'all. You get paid to do this shit. After Project Eve, the showcase definitely took a major nosedive, in my opinion. Not to discredit any of the games that were shown off, whether they're not my cup of tea or we've just seen too much of it, but you could definitely tell there was a major drop in quality and excitement from some of the stuff that they showed off. And we're starting first off the top with Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5, the game that if you don't have it by now, you have a new opportunity to buy it with this remaster. We learned that it was delayed out of 2021 into early 2022, which is, I guess, great for people who love GTA 5. I mean, I love GTA 5. I love the story. I love those characters, but I love that story and those characters when I played it years ago. And everything I've seen in this remaster, if you will, it doesn't have me excited to go back into that world. Obviously, the single player component is not Rockstar's main bread and butter for GTA 5. It's all about GTA Online and all these enhancements that they're going to be bringing to it. But I'm just going to be honest, looking at this trailer and these enhancements, this doesn't look that much better than the PC version. It looks literally like they ported the PC version. And the crazy thing about it is, if you look at the PC version and what the people in the modding community are able to do to make that game look so much better, I'm actually kind of, I know this is kind of a crazy word to use, but I'm disgusted at what Rockstar is showing off. Like, y'all had all this time to work on this GTA remaster, and this is the best you got. Still no announcement on whether or not this is going to be 60 frames per second, which I think if you're selling this game to console owners, that would be something that you highlight in a trailer instead of just vaguely saying enhancements, like, and check back for more. I don't know, man. I mean, GTA 5 is still an amazing game, and if you haven't played the game yet and you want to play it at what I assume is going to be 4K resolution and fingers crossed for 60 frames per second, check out this remaster when it drops next year. But I'm just gonna be real, I can't hide this disgust I have for Rockstar, where they could be doing so much more for their games, their back catalog, their library of older titles, and they just, you know what, Rockstar, you got it, man, you got it. And then from there, we got what is, in my opinion, one of the biggest L's of the showcase. We got our 88th look at Deathloop. Now, here's the thing. This is not to discredit Deathloop. This is not to discredit anyone at Bethesda or Arcane or anyone who's just generally excited about Deathloop. I got to question PlayStation and why they would put this game in another showcase. Bro, we've had dedicated state of plays to Deathloop. We've had so many damn trailers for Deathloop. Everybody knows about Deathloop. We know it's coming. Like, literally, we know the game is coming out. And it's going to be really sad if this game, with all this exposure, ends up flopping, man. That's going to be very disappointing, because we could have just shown off any other game of the showcase. Well, not any other game of the showcase. We got another look at Guardians of the Galaxy, which, bro, it just seems like nobody outside of Insomniac is capable of making a Marvel game. Like, bro, that game comes out in 5 weeks, and it looks like it needs another 5 years of development. This is not a good look. This is not a good look, y'all. Thankfully, after that grade A NyQuil, we got some banger announcements in the form of PlayStation first-party updates. Now, this one I'm not really going to spend too much time on, but I do want to mention it, considering it is going to be introducing a franchise to a whole new audience of gamers. I'm, of course, talking about the Uncharted collection. Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy releasing on both PlayStation 5 and PC. Now, for PC gamers, this is awesome because it's another Sony franchise making its way onto PC. Very strange that they're introducing these games and not the collection, you know, the first games in the series. But hey, Sony, they're gonna do what they do. It is what it is at this point, man. The fact that it's coming out on PS5, though, I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh. Call me a fanboy, but yo, Sony is literally out here selling y'all games they just released a few years ago with minor updates. Come on now, y'all. Come on now. They gonna charge you $60, maybe $70 for 2 games y'all already own that they could patch to 60 frames. It's just, you know what? Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Pay for quality, support the devs. That's all good, but come on now, y'all. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow. But hey, if they include that haptic feedback, maybe it'll all be worth it. And then we got a brand new look at Gran Turismo 7. I'm just gonna be real, y'all. I am not a big fan of simulation racing games. Most of the racing games I do like to play are more of the arcadey style. So I'm talking about things like Mario Kart, Sonic Racing, and of course Forza Horizon. But I do realize that Gran Turismo is a legendary, is an understatement. It is a legacy on the PlayStation brand. People are extremely excited for this game. I believe this is the first mainline Gran Turismo game since Gran Turismo 6 on the PlayStation 3. And that was back at the beginning of the generation, 2013. And I think they had one game in between, GT Sport. So this is their first major game in a long ass time. Polyphony Digital takes 88 years to work on stuff. But the quality is usually there for the most part, bar a lot of updates and patches. So a lot of Gran Turismo fans, get excited. Y'all gonna be playing this game spring next year on both PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. So it's a cross-gen release, a retroactive cross-gen release because it was PS5 exclusive first. And then from there, we got into the major hype moments of the showcase, or what I like to call the Insomniac Games showcase, because this company is really holding the PlayStation 5. They're carrying that shit on their fucking backs, man. First things first, I'm gonna get this out of the way, even though it came out later. We got an announcement for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Now, I could do a whole video just discussing and speculating all the villains and stuff. It literally will take up 15 minutes of this. So if you guys want to see that, comment down below in the video description. But not only that, we found out that they're working on a Wolverine game, which I just listen. We were all joking when we said Insomniac needs to work on every single Marvel game in the future. And now it looks like they're going to be doing that, because they're juggling both Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. Now, Wolverine, obviously, they only showed off a CGI trailer. So we know that bitch ain't coming out for a couple of years. Optimistically, end of 2024. Realistically, 2025, which I know is a very, very long time. But nevertheless, I am excited for it. The talent that's working on it. The main writer, I believe, for Spec Ops: The Line is going to be writing the story for this game, which is just so friggin' dope. Because if anyone's played Spec Ops: The Line, y'all know how crazy that story is. So them working on this game, I'm just so excited to see what they do with it, man, because Wolverine as a character, you know, it's something people have wanted done for a very long time. The last Wolverine game we got was I believe X-Men Origins Wolverine, and that was in 2009. And honestly, you know, for its whole movie tie-in fault, I thought that was a pretty decent game. I loved how brutal it was if you bought I guess it was called the Uncaged Unrated edition. So I'm excited to see Insomniac's take on this. I really hope the game is rated M for mature, and I'm excited to see what they do with another Marvel character in the mythos, man, in this little shared Marvel universe that they're crafting. I can't wait to see his playstyle. I can't wait to see how they're going to handle, you know, him traversing through the world, because very different from Spider-Man. He can't just leap around like Spider-Man swings on his webs. So I can't wait to see if they're going to incorporate his motorcycle as far as traversal's concerned. Is this going to be hub world? Like, there's just so many things about this that are just so friggin' cool to speculate on, and I'm just excited for this future, man. This Marvel game universe that Insomniac is crafting. You know, it's like what we said when the MCU started. I would love for all of these movies to be shared universes like the comics, and it looks like Insomniac is doing the same thing. So if we start seeing cameos from Spider-Man villains or Peter Parker himself in this game, that'd be friggin' awesome. There was a Hulk teaser right there, so who knows, maybe the Incredible Hulk will be a character in this game that you can fight. Either way, man, I can't stress this enough, you guys. I am excited. But the fact that they're doing both of these games and they gave a release year for Spider-Man 2023, if it sticks, yo, I don't know what Sony is paying Insomniac, but they got to double, quadruple that, because they are carrying the PlayStation 5 right now. Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man Remastered, and now we have Spider-Man 2 and this Wolverine game. Like, that is more output than most studios put out in 5 years. And this studio is doing this with, you know, a fraction of the employees. I understand Insomniac has got 2 studios and they probably have a very good pipeline of how they make their games, but it's just, it cannot be stated more than it already has. Insomniac was such a major win for Sony. That acquisition is paying off and then some. And then we ended off the showcase with our first actual look at God of War Ragnarok. It is actually titled God of War Ragnarok, so, you know, it's not like they had a different subtitle in the making. It is literally called God of War Ragnarok. I mean, obviously everybody called that. And I'm gonna be kind of controversial. I know I'm gonna get a couple of dislikes from some people, but everything I saw from this God of War showcase, it looked good. It looks really good, but it didn't wow me as much as God of War 2018. Now, I understand God of War 2018 was a major departure from the original God of War game, so of course its reveal is going to be different based off of that alone. But just compare the aura that came from that original gameplay demo, what you did there, to this, and this just kind of looks like more of the same. Now, that's not saying the game is going to be more of the same, and that's not saying the game is going to be bad. I am extremely excited for this game because God of War 2018 is, in my personal opinion, the best PlayStation exclusive. But I really can't just shake this feeling that this game would have been so much more if it wasn't cross-gen. And that's my biggest stickler for this. Like, yeah, it's gonna look good on PS5, 60 frames per second, better lighting, better this, that, and the third. But I don't know, man. I just feel like they're gonna be taking a lot of the stuff that they either couldn't do because of time in the PS4 version, or they couldn't work it around in the PS4 version, and they're just gonna do that for this sequel, which kind of bums me out, but we'll just have to see. Maybe they'll have a better showcase of this game where they show off more than just some of the stuff that we saw here. Again, I'm not saying that the game is going to be bad or it looked bad in any way, shape, or form, but just based off of what we're accustomed to seeing before, this just kind of left me wanting more. And I'm specifically saying that in this video in the hopes that I jinx myself and the next showcase we see they go balls to the walls with all the different realms and all the different kinds of boss fights we're going to be seeing. I know that's probably what they're going to do, considering how secretive they were of the first God of War. The first God of War. Oh yeah, and this new continuity they're doing, the first God of War in this reboot saga. But if there is one silver lining from this entire event, we did learn that a couple of these games are full-on PS5 only titles, which is something I'm extremely excited about after Jim Ryan tap dancing for the past year that, oh no, these games are PS5 only. Wait, they're cross-gen. Wolverine, Star Wars, and Spiderman are all confirmed to be PS5 only titles, so that is very great for game development going forward. We can finally start to utilize the true power of these consoles. And just in general, when it comes to PlayStation in the future, we know that this isn't the only stuff they have available. They've got so many studios in the works, so fingers crossed that we might be able to see more of these PlayStation showcases. Hopefully we don't have to wait an entire year to learn what some of these other studios are working on. But until that day comes, I guess, like always, we'll just have to wait and see. And that basically wraps up my thoughts on the PlayStation Showcase, y'all. As you can see, there were a couple of things to get really excited about, especially Insomniac if you're a fan of Marvel games. But overall, grading this showcase, the best parts of the show were the beginning and the end. There was that whole dry spell in the middle of about 20-25 minutes where, I'm just gonna be honest, I didn't care much for any of those games. And it's not to discredit those games and their inclusion, but I feel as if you're coming out with a showcase and you're making it your premier showcase, because remember, PlayStation does not do these showcases often. This was the first major showcase that PlayStation has had, to my knowledge, since last year, right before they launched the PS5. They've done independent state of plays here and there, and of course one's dedicated to games like Horizon. But for a showcase that, you know, most people have waited an entire year for, I honestly expected a lot more. Some of the things that were shown off in between, like Guardians, Deathloop, Grand Theft Auto, and just everything else there, those could have been state of plays or independent trailers posted on the YouTube channel. This show was really propped up by Kotor, by Wolverine, by Spider-Man, and by God of War, which are all great announcements, but are they really 40 minutes worth to sit through all that stuff? I don't know, you guys be the judge of that. So post your comments down below, you guys. What did you think about the PlayStation Game Showcase? Did it live up to all your expectations for an entire year of waiting? Or are you still under the guise of, hey, I'm just gonna wait until these PS5s are available to buy them, which will probably be 2023 since the way it's looking right now, it's looking kind of spooky, y'all. But comment down below and let me know. And from me to you for now, my name is NGS signing out. Like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.